Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. King Kamakazi here, and today we're going to be reviewing the movie Jugjugg Jeeyo, a 2022 movie directed by Raj Mehta. Now, before I actually even started with watching this movie, I didn't really know a lot. I did watch the trailer at one point when the trailer did release, and I was like, oh, this concept is kind of nice. It's basically go watch the trailer yourself. But I like the concept of the movie, right? I was like, they could do something with it. It seemed like very classic Bollywood, old school Dharma Productions, which by the way is also the production house for this movie. So it looked very old school, big family story. It's comedy, romance, drama. And I was like, you know what? I'm feeling like I really want to watch Jugjugg Jeeyo. It came on Amazon Prime, and I was like, well, might as well watch it. So I did decide to watch it, and this movie surprised me. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie throughout. I really liked it. It blew me out of my expectations. I guess that's the thing, you should keep low expectations when you go to movies, right? But it really made me feel like, okay, this is much more better than I thought. However, before I sing its praises, I would like to tell what was wrong with the movie, right? Because it's not a perfect movie. No movie is perfect. But this movie does have some flaws which seriously piss the fuck out of me, right? So, the main thing, which is the worst thing about this movie, is Anil Kapoor's character. Now, Anil Kapoor plays the father of Varun Dhawan, which, by the way, if you don't know the gist of the movie, it's basically Varun Dhawan, Kiara Advani, unhappy marriage, want to get a divorce. Varun Dhawan finds out Anil Kapoor, his father, also wants to get a divorce with his mother. And that just creates a conflict. He's like, well, fuck. My parents want to divorce, but they can't. But then that brings the moral question like, okay, but then I'm divorcing, so why is it different for them? That's the gist of the story. So Anil Kapoor plays the character of Varun's father. The problem is, we'll talk about how he does it and all the good things we'll talk about later. The problem with the character is that it's not written really well. He's just an asshole throughout the movie. And till the end of the movie, even when the movie is over, there is no redemption for Anil Kapoor's character. He is selfish. He only cares about himself. Sure, he realizes his mistake, but he doesn't really do anything. He's just a jackass most of the time. And I feel like that was very shit. There's no closure to his character at all. He's just completely an asshole from start to end. And I thought that was very unusual. It's almost like they forgot that we have to make him likable. Because I'm sure they try to make you feel like, oh, he's such a funny guy, we should like him. But you really don't feel sorry for him. I genuinely do not feel sorry for whatever he goes through eventually in the movie. It's just annoying. He's just an asshole and he kind of got what he deserved. And even at the end of the movie, it's not even like he got what he deserved. It's more 6 months time. So it's the character is really not nice of Anil Kapoor. He's just an asshole throughout the movie, which I thought was, could have been done better. One more thing I have complaints with is the end of the movie. The movie ends in very, very cheesy Bollywood type stuff. I cringed. I don't know. I cringed at some points. I made okay, this is really happening. The movie tries to play off classic 90s Bollywood type in a triumphant moment where everyone's laughing and it's supposed to be very heartwarming and funny, but it just comes off as really bad. The ending really is sloppy. Also, the ending just feels sloppy in general. They really went the complete 90s Bollywood style for the endings, which honestly could have worked maybe 10 years ago as well, but it's dated up to this point. We're literally in the second decade of the 2000s. It just doesn't work anymore, right? So the ending, I was like, all right, well, this is not really needed. There is a sort of a B plot, if you would say, of the younger sister who is getting married to this guy, but then she's still in love with her ex. Completely pointless. I, of course, mostly seen the YouTuber is acting in it. Great performance. We'll talk about that later. But the actual B plot itself is completely useless. I even forgot it existed until, okay, she showed up on screen and I was like, huh? And I was like, oh yeah, this thing is happening. It just adds unnecessary minutes to the movies, which is not really needed. You don't need to have that B plot. You could cut out the entire plot of the younger sister stuff and it would not lessen the impact of the movie's message. I don't understand why it was added in. But that's about all the complaints I have from this movie. This movie, it's a pretty good movie. Completely blew me out of the waters. Did I already say that? But yeah, it's a pretty good movie, and I would like to talk about why it's a good movie now, because those were the things which really annoyed, and which is why this movie is not a perfect movie, right? But it's a really good movie still. So let's start with the story of the movie. It is very filmy. It's not something that would happen. It's not a very realistic kind of movie. It's not something you would relate to unless you have a crazy family. It's not like this is so relatable type of story, but it's made for a film, right? Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum wasn't relatable either, but that was still a very family dramatic movie. And this very much does feel like a Dharma Productions family movie, right? It's just this huge family issues, drama, all that stuff. So yeah, it's very filmy, but it does touch upon some very good topics, and it really makes you think if you actually go ahead with an open mind. Which brings us on to the theme of the movie. Like the theme of the movie, it's different things. It's how, according, like the movie suggests how new people or newer generation, me and my seniors, like we don't like to compromise when it comes to relationships. How some people equate being married and taking care of the wife and children equated to love, but like this movie kind of tells you that that is not exactly love. Showing love is different from showing concern, which I really like. That was a dialogue said by Neetu Singh's character. Like it really makes you think about it, because sure, I know some people are going to be like, well, this is set in a rich family, and like they have big bungalows, they live like it's a fucking lavish Punjabi family. But the problems are very real. These problems, if you really think about them, they might exist in your home as well, right? I like how it intertwines. It's not just one theme, like it's different things. Like Anil Kapoor character shows how he always cares about his happiness, and he doesn't really see the point of sacrifices. Neetu Singh's character is your classic Indian woman, like classic older Indian woman, where she's like, a marriage is made of compromises and sacrifices. Everyone says that. And then we have Varun Dhawan and Kiara Advani, who represent the youth. How people are getting married nowadays and they're just unhappy. They just don't want to be together and they want a divorce. So I do like how the movie tries to portray different themes. Again, the concept is what made me think, okay, this is probably going to be an interesting movie, right? And it was. Now, humor in this movie is not bad. I know humor is subjective, comedy is subjective, right? Like some people would have found this movie absolutely hilarious. Some people would have just sat there like, can't wait to go and write a 1-star review on IMDb about how Salman Khan is the best actor and this movie sucks. But the comedy, for me especially, it does hit in the right spots. It's very hit or miss, I will say. Some of the times where something happens and I'm just like, that's my reaction. Other times I'm genuinely laughing because there's just some funny shit happening. I feel like the comedy is well placed in this movie. It doesn't feel random at times, except for like one time where it felt like, okay, you don't need to be funny right now. But without the comedy supporting this movie is just depressing. It's a very depressing movie if you just take out all the humor from the movie. It's just a sad movie to watch. And I feel like, okay, movie should not be like that. So I do like the humor in this movie. It doesn't feel too forced. It doesn't feel like it's low-hanging fruit or just cheap laughs, like, entertainment in my head. But the comedy isn't too bad. Now let's talk about my favorite thing to talk about in movies, which is the acting, because I just adore how actors act. This movie is very well acted. It has some really good performances. I'm just gonna read the names here because I don't remember the cast off my head. Like Neetu Singh plays the mom, mostly sane. Some Kohli, I'm so sorry, I don't know her name. Mostly sane. Even Tiska Chopra plays a teacher, which I didn't even recognize it was Tiska Chopra until I saw the cast and I was like, huh? Like, I don't know why that didn't click. I mean, she has gotten older. But yeah, even Manish Paul, who basically plays the same character again, he's the comedic relief, he's the comic sidekick of this movie. Even he's doing a great job in this movie. Like, they're all doing good jobs. It doesn't feel over the top level. I guess Manish Paul's does feel over the top. Let's talk about Varun Dhawan and Kiara Advani. Now, I have not seen enough Varun Dhawan movies. I will admit, I don't know if he's a good actor. Badlapur was absolutely great. I adore him in that. Do I think his other movies are nice? Maybe not. I don't think so. Kiara Advani, I haven't seen a performance out of her yet. If she has done it, or if she hasn't, then we've just not seen it. But in this movie, I think both of them are doing good, you know. Sure, it's not the greatest performance of all time. Varun Dhawan is not acting away. Kiara Advani is not aiming for the Oscars. There's nothing of that sort. But I think it's great. There is one scene which I really liked. It's like a scene, it goes on for almost 5 minutes. It's basically them fighting. It's a family movie. It's not going to be them doing anything else. But it's basically them fighting for like almost 5 minutes. That scene is very, very good. Props to Kiara Advani and Varun Dhawan for... It feels very real, you know? It doesn't feel like you're watching a movie. I hope someone on YouTube who's into movies kind of does a breakdown of that scene, because there's a lot of info in that scene which you unpack as it's going on. The acting is great. I think Varun Dhawan is doing a great job. Now, I don't know if that's just basic acting of like that's just what he does all the time. I think he's doing a great job. The way he breaks down slowly as the scene progresses. He goes from angry to just depressed, and he just becomes like sad in the end. Kiara Advani is doing a great job as well. Gives off very strong Deepika Padukone vibes, except kind of more like she's giving off more Deepika Padukone than actually Deepika Padukone, if that makes sense. But not to discredit her or anything. I'm just like that's what it reminded me of, Deepika Padukone arguing. But Kiara Advani is doing a great job as well. I really, really like that scene. I went back and replayed that scene for myself because I was like, I need to watch this scene again because I was super impressed when I watched it first. But all that is put aside by Anil Kapoor. He is the absolute star of this movie. God damn it, such a good actor. He takes his role and he basically becomes the character. It's so good. His character is goofy. He makes shit jokes. He's just like, he's basically an old man living his life. And Anil Kapoor absolutely embodies that character so well. It's incredible. Even small things such as the way he moves in some of the scenes. I'm sure it's part of the script maybe, but the way he moves around, the way he reacts to things, his acting is absolutely great. Anil Kapoor still has it, man. He's old. Like his age is finally starting to show because we thought he was a vampire and he just was immortal. But my god, this movie really, really is Anil Kapoor's movie. Like, and I don't want to discredit the other performances because they're really good as well. So I wouldn't say Anil Kapoor carries this movie, right? But he definitely outshines the others when it comes to the acting department. It's so good. I absolutely love his performance in this movie. All in all, Jugjugg Jeeyo was a pretty good movie. Completely blew my expectations away. I was expecting a cringy comedy type family drama which didn't really make a lot of sense. I really liked the movie. I like what the movie was trying to do. I feel like it did it successfully, except for like the ending and like the character arc of Anil Kapoor's character, because it's like, okay, well, all that, but what happened in the end? So I feel like those are some major things in this movie. Like, those are some major plot points in this movie where the movie is just like, fuck it. We wanted to make a movie under 2 hours and 30 minutes. So like, let's just try to somehow end this. And like, it doesn't even end on the actual problem. Like, yeah, Kiara Advani and, spoilers, Varun Dhawan get back together. But it's like, well, what about Anil Kapoor? He's been an asshole throughout. Are we gonna get a redemption arc for him? No. Okay, is he gonna finally understand his mistake? No. He's even smug about it at the end. He's like, oh, I patawfied your mummy in 3 months before. Abhi ye 3-4-6 mahine lagenge. You're like, what, bro? Are you stupid? Are you stupid? You stupid fool. But yeah, that's how the movie just ends after that. And I'm like, huh? Yeah, there's another song at the end where Varun Dhawan's showing his abs, which is really nice. See, that's the kind of shitty Varun Dhawan I thought it was going to be, where he's just like, you know, he's like showing his abs, which he is, to be fair, in this movie, even in character. But like, he's just dancing around and he's just being like, Varun Dhawan feels like he never evolved out of Student of the Year, because that's what most of his movies are, except for Badlapur. Badlapur is pretty fucking good, best performance. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me. I enjoyed this movie way more than I should have. I found myself laughing at many points in this movie. I found myself actually resonating with the characters. I found myself thinking about what was being shown on screen. Like, and that's very rare. Movies don't really make me ponder upon things, right? Because these are real issues. These are not fiction. It's not like like something about the Matrix where you're breaking the Matrix and coming out. Like, these are real things which happens. So I was very intrigued by it. It did succeed in making me intrigued. If I had to give a rating to this movie, I would give it a solid 8 out of 10. Now, that might be a shock to some people. You're giving this movie a 8. But here's the thing. This movie falls short in 2 or 3 major departments. But did I have fun watching it? Now, there's always a difference between how good a movie is and how fun you had watching the movie. This movie is very fun to watch, I have to say. It might not, like you don't have to analyze a movie every time, like, oh, doesn't make sense, this doesn't make sense. Is it fun to watch? Yes, it is fun to watch. So, I think this is a great movie. 8 out of 10 seems fair to me. If you agree with me, comment down below how I am the greatest king you ever had. If you disagree with me, grab your pitchforks and comment down below why you disagree with me. Be like, Varun Dhawan is the worst actor ever and you are just a fanboy. I'll probably think about that. Anyway, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you like new videos. Don't forget to like the video so that YouTube actually pushes it to other people. Follow me on Instagram, link and everything is in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see you all in the next video.